Hey everybody, welcome to Between the Lines with Chris Curran. I'm your host, and tonight we speak with baseball player and Duke alum, drafted in the 26th round of the 2010 amateur baseball draft to the Washington Nationals, pitched for organizations like the Nationals and the Reds, a 2011 All-Star, singer, songwriter, and producer. You can find him on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes. A proud husband, friend, and Brooklyn's own Chris Manno.
How's it going?
Good, man. How's everything?
Great. Love that. Perfect. Proud husband. I got those points.
Gotta add it in, man. That's good stuff, man. How's everything been?
Good, man. Great to be here. It's been a minute that we've spoken, but I think we have a couple of good stories in regards to recording during some ball games. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely when you start looking back at our past of Hagerstown Suns. You guys in the bullpen were wild.
Oh, yeah, man.
I don't think I've ever seen a bullpen as unbelievable. You guys were very unpredictable. The only thing you could predict is that you guys were nuts.
You know what's funny that you just said that, and I completely forgot about that bullpen until this moment? Like, until just now, you literally just made me think about that bullpen. You're right. It was a bunch of characters.
Unbelievable.
It was a bunch of characters. It like outside of good baseball, because we were like the team was really talented in regards to who made it and whatnot. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And what a horrible field and situation.
You know what's crazy about Hagerstown? I loved the fans.
Oh yeah,
they were the nicest in the world. The staff that worked there was awesome.
Yeah.
The field of play. I don't think people from the stands could actually see it. I think the kids could feel it when they got to run the bases after the game.
And that's what I was speaking on, because the fans, I mean, that might have been one of the most fun experiences I've had in regards to like the fans and whatnot. But oh my God, that field was the second worst field I ever played on in my professional career.
There's a worse one?
Yes. Let me think of it, because I'm putting myself on the spot. And it's in what league is it in? It's in Double-A. When I played in Pensacola with the Reds, I'll think about it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being in the outfield. I mean, you've got to shag BP before games, but when you get a ground ball and it's like hopping and you miss it and you're being booed by your own fans, you're like, no, you guys don't get it.
Yeah.
You haven't played on this field.
Yeah. It's funny because it's reminiscent. I growing up in Brooklyn, as obviously people know, there's not much space here. So the fields growing up were horrific. And not only horrific, dangerous. We had like glass, we had needles, because a lot of times parks in general were a place where, people were doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like pretty blessed to have had that in my past, because then, when I got to college, I was like, holy crap. I'm in the big leagues.
Yeah, you went to Duke. So.
Yeah, it was great.
A little bit different.
And then in pro ball, most of the time, it was unbelievable. Even the mound at Hagerstown, they took care of us. It was good. I felt worse for you guys who were playing the field.
Yeah, that part was a little tough.
Yeah,
some of the outfields were rough there.
But my gosh, I have stories from that year that I was there of shenanigans. Just just good kids doing ridiculous things during the game, during rain delays. Were you there? I have a question. One of the funniest stories of my baseball career was in Hagerstown. And I don't know if you remember this, but they bought Texas Christian's scoreboard.
I do remember that.
So this orange and black and white team, like the colors of the Hagerstown, that for the people who don't know the colors of Hagerstown, it's a sun and it's a white, orange, and black logo. And they purchased this giant purple scoreboard. The thing was it was bigger than, it was overpoweringly big. So the story goes real quick is that it's like a summer northeast storm with lightning and half hour every time a strike. And we had to get I think I might have been down or I was doing a bullpen, and we had to get your training in before the game, even if we thought it was going to be a rain out. And I don't know how I came up with this idea, but I had the clubhouse manager buy 6 dozen balloons, helium balloons. And he comes back and he goes, okay. I gave him like $40, $50. He's like, okay. Comes back with them, and I attach my phone to them, a smartphone. This is in the bullpen at Hagerstown. And I'm like, guys, I'm gonna press record and see what happens. This is like before drones, and this is like circa 2000 and what? 10, 11?
11, yeah.
Yeah. And send that guy up, let it go. Everyone's like, holy crap. Oh my God. Wait, it's starting to go right. Oh no. The power lines. So were you here for this?
No.
Okay. So it hits the power line. So then my phone is attached to the power line behind the right field fence. And the power line runs from the right field fence to center field. And there's a wire that goes from the transformer to the scoreboard. Bro, this balloon ended up slowly. Then it hits the transformer and it creates a circuit because it essentially attached the one wire to the other. And then I guess I'm not an electrician, but it zoop, and exploded. Power went out in all of Hagerstown. And the funniest part about it, it burnt out the scoreboard. So we're all looking at it laughing, and the main guy, Doug Harris, was there.
Oh yeah.
And the next day, me and him had a good relationship. I'm in my locker, not thinking anything of it. Next day, I go into my locker and there's a letter, official Washington Nationals letter, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this? What the hell is this?" And it's a bill of $72,000 for a scoreboard. And then eventually they told me that the scoreboard's not broken, and he was just joking. But yeah, that's one of the stories.
Oh my God.
As I take up 10 minutes on a complete nonsense situation. But
no, that is perfect.
Yeah. So funny.
That summarizes kind of how much fun was had.
Swinenberg, you had Appleby. Wow. Who else? Oh, you know who I saw? I was hanging out with recently? Sammy Palace.
Shut up.
Yep. So I was doing work, or trying to do work with an artist named John Bellion. He's like a singer-songwriter, very talented guy. Writes for Bieber, does a bunch of amazing things. And I did a verse on one of his songs, and I really, really wanted to perform at his Queen's performance. And Sammy ended up being at the show.
In attendance or to perform?
In attendance.
Oh, wow.
Because he's good friends with the outfielder for the Phillies, the Italian kid. My brain's not working right now.
I can't think of him either.
Wears chains. He played with the Tigers. Whatever.
I'm missing it too.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, Sammy had brought his son and wife to the show from Chicago.
Oh, because was he bullpen catching?
Yeah, Sammy had the big league job, if I'm not mistaken, for the Nationals for a bit, and for the Tigers, he got the big league job.
I thought so when I had seen that. I'm like, good for him, man. He was such a good dude. Always worked hard. Everyone loved him.
Yeah,
he's a locker room guy.
Yeah, and he was also a musician. Yeah, he was a guitar player. Him and McCaddy.
Mm-hmm. I remember that time frame of having you, McCaddy, Palace, and it's just like, there was just always something happening.
We were living in the same house, recording songs every day.
That is amazing, man.
Yeah, this old 1800s like decrepit house that had, for some reason, it had this fully functioning $1,000 old school speaker system that we were using as like studio monitors, and totally like recorded like pretty decent songs.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool. It was very cool, and everyone got involved.
Good old Sammy Palace, huh?
Sammy Palace was doing the guitar. He did a whole like solo on one of the songs. McCaddy was doing guitar. Swinenberg was rapping. Brown, remember Brown?
Yeah.
Brown,
oh yeah, Sam Brown.
Sam Brown was rapping on it. I think the name of the song was Cleat Chasers Going Down.
Dude, I think I heard that song now that you're talking about it.
Before things went viral, that was like as viral as something can go. Like all of minor league baseball knew it. That's hilarious.
Now that you brought it back up, I'm like, dude, I heard of that title. I'm pretty sure I heard of the song.
And the funniest part about it was that on the verse was one of the coaches.
Yeah?
Mahalik was doing vocals on one of the everyone wanted to be on the song.
Man.
Yeah, that shows you how much I was concentrating on baseball when I was playing. I got so many ridiculous stories about music being in the way of baseball. Hilarious.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hilarious.
No, but I mean that's the good stuff though, man, because sometimes you don't realize it that during the baseball season you need something else. You do, because like if you're doing good, you're baseball, but if you're not doing the best that you can be, you have to find another outlet, because then you can just sit around all day thinking about it, and then you're at the field for 8, 10, 12 hours.
Too long.
Yeah. Especially on those days of rainouts.
I mean, the amount of time I spent doing absolutely nothing in professional baseball was indescribable. Like it's just like, but I'm speaking on a pitcher's like perspective of this, because as an outfielder, you definitely were more occupied. Yeah. Even on like a game level, right? Like even like game time. Like, dude, I was pitching as a closer for the majority of my career. Like, I wouldn't physically perform until 10 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would get to the field at what, noon?
Yeah. There were days we were there at noon, and even if the base runners got picked off 3 times the night before, and they're like, you got to be there at 12, you guys had to still be there at 12 in many.
Oh yeah, no, we were. I was
ways.
there just twiddling my thumbs for 96% of the time that I was in the stadium, right? So like I personally, on a selfish level, I wasn't an outfielder like yourself. So you were actually doing stuff. You were taking BP. You were shagging balls. You were, I would get there, stretch, run, throw, and then just wait until 10 p.m. So for me,
until you get the sign,
until I get, maybe I won't.
Yeah.
So that's where to intertwine music into a tangent conversation that I started. Yeah, like that was my outlet.
Yeah.
That was my outlet. I had to do something because, there wasn't any TikTok.
I know. I try to tell people that now. It's like when we were playing in 2008, you had Facebook that had been around for maybe 2 years or so.
Yeah.
But there was no Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah. I mean, we had, I remember I had made a Twitter when I was in Pensacola, Florida with the Reds in like 2013 or 14. But prior to that, it was Facebook. I didn't really have social media outside of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the same.
I wasn't even allowed to have Facebook in college.
Really?
No, because Duke had a scandal with the lacrosse team, and they weren't allowing. I wasn't there that year. I came in after, and they like banned athletes from having any type of social media for like legal purposes.
Wow.
Yeah. So we all had fake names. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome. That's so funny, man.
So
leading up to that, like, what was your baseball background like? Like, your journey in baseball in Brooklyn, and then how did it lead to Duke?
So I born and raised here. I'm actually in Brooklyn now, still. I came back here after ball. I was a full-blown baseball player my entire life. Like, I was obsessed. My journey in baseball was kind of that like quintessential little league player. I probably started a bit later than most. I think I started, speaking with my dad about this recently, I think I started ball like around 10, which is a little bit later, I think. Like I was like on like a year or two after most of my friends did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was big, I was athletic, and I excelled fast. I was a little league, like a lot of us were, a little league animal.
Yeah.
And truthfully, like outside of being good at it, it was my life. Like I breathed, ate, and slept it. I cried during rainouts. I was fully in it. Going to high school for ball, it was very clear that I definitely had a potential future in it. And I grew up in the inner cities of Brooklyn, so I wasn't like in like very well off neighborhoods. I grew up in an area called Gowanus, somewhat industrial, just not a hangout neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any friends in my neighborhood really. I wasn't allowed to really be around like that grouping of kids because in those areas, like you can get into trouble. And I was definitely a active kid, like ADHD before it was a thing. Like, dude, the list goes on. But yeah, no, for sure. Like, definitely would have gotten into some trouble if I didn't have baseball in my life. And then I excelled to a point where I joined an inner city organization called Youth Service. So a very, very famous organization. The likes of Manny Ramirez played his entire career as a kid with them. Sean Dunston, Dylan Betanzas, Adam Ottavino. The list goes on. Doesn't matter. And that became my family.
Wow.
That became my family. Beyond family. And coming from, I mean, I'm not going to say that my family was poor growing up. I definitely was blessed to have a father who worked hard and did well. And we were blessed enough for my mom to be able to stay home at a certain point to take care of me and my sister later on.
Yeah.
But I was playing with kids who were in horrible situations, and baseball was their only way to get an education, to get to college potentially, to stay away from trouble long enough during the day to stay alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, because as you know, like it's very easy to get sucked into situations, especially when you're surrounded by it all the time.
Yeah, that's how we are here in Brockton, where I live. It's like 15 to 20 minutes south of Boston, and it's a little bit of a different area. Same thing that we had discussed earlier was, on the fields you have drugs, needles, glass, people walking across the fields with dogs, and you're just like, you'd have certain games in certain areas. And I mean, we stopped when I was 18, we stopped playing at a particular field because there was drive-bys at it.
Yeah.
And it was our home field. And we're like, come on, man, it's the only nice field we got.
Yeah. I mean, our same thing, man. Like, it was weird though. As a kid, I didn't really think of that.
Yeah.
It's strange, right? Like now, like, gosh, if my son or daughter are playing in those areas, God, I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
At this point in my life. But back then, it was because it was the most competitive place to play. With the best organization, around the best coaching. But my life with baseball really took off when I joined Youth Service, predominantly Dominican demographic. So you have like Dominican, Puerto Rican, Black, and then you have me as like one of the only white kids that was on the team. I'm half Spanish, but
you were white.
But I was white
in that.
I was white in that world. But it was beautiful, man. Like I was telling you when I first started talking about Youth Service, and I'll keep saying it's a strange name for an organization. We'll call it YSL. I'll keep mentioning that organization because, gosh, the amount of lives that it changed. Forget about baseball. Like baseball in my head, looking at it as an adult, looking back, it saves so many lives, dude. Like
Yeah.
kids off the boat from DR who could have gone with other organizations, not getting the actual treatment and like pushing for education as they should have. Like our coach wouldn't let you play if you weren't doing well in school.
That's awesome.
Like he would straight up be like, I'm on the phone with your coach. You just cut 2 classes. Get the hell out of my practice. Get the hell off my field.
Yeah. And that's what you need.
Oh yeah.
You need that, especially in those tougher areas as well. It's that accountability of like, no, you're going to treat everything like baseball, whether it's school, whether it's the way you conduct yourself in the community, how you talk to your parents.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how you do anything.
If a mom or dad came up to my coach, Mel Zitter was his name, famous coach. Mom or dad came up to Mel and said, hey, my son is coming home at this time, or my son is disrespecting me. Benched. See ya.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
No, it's important.
Yeah. So, and then another cool thing is that we maintain the field that we played on.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
So cool little side note, which I think was really important for us because I don't know, it's just kind of like being in the military and making your bed kind of thing. Like, you know, you took pride in the place that you know, were spending most of the most important parts of your day, you know, as an athlete, and that. So
yeah, no, that's big. We used to have to clean the outside of our field too, because you know, obviously it was, guys, you see a needle, don't touch it. Exactly. You see green bags or white bags, don't pick them up. Yeah, don't touch it, guys. Come on, you know what it is.
It's crazy though. What we had to play. But then, I mean, getting back to the question. Sorry, I got off topic. But after youth service, I went to a pretty competitive high school, and I always played with youth service throughout that, but I went to a school called Zvarian. Freshman year, I was actually recruited by Georgia. Committed there my freshman year. Didn't understand that I was going to have more offers. Then started getting some Ivy League offers sophomore year, eventually decommitted because the coach left, and then Duke came to the crib and knocked my socks off. I went on my visit. It looked like Harry Potter. So I was like, this is great.
That's awesome.
It was warmer. So yeah, I decided to go down there and play down there. Yeah.
Did you do 3 years there or 4?
No, I did all 4. So I had an interesting college story. I came in as like the #1 recruit, super high expectations, and my freshman year was horrific.
Yeah?
Dude, I was not ready on a social and mental level to have that amount of freedom, that amount of like the amount of decisions I had to make for myself. I really wasn't making, because I was kind of like only doing baseball when I was in Brooklyn. You know, like I was a very like prude kid. I had never like drank. I had never smoked. I never had a girlfriend. I don't think I even kissed a girl at that point. Swear to God. And so I go to Duke, but I'm still like this like hard nosed like inner city Brooklyn kid, and I'm just having to lie about everything because all these kids are coming from like these rich neighborhoods in Cali and Texas, and you know they've been drinking since they're this age and have on the 3rd girlfriend, and I'm just like culture shocked in a world where I'm just like, I guess I gotta lie, you know, So my freshman year was kind of a wash.
Wow. No, were you Were you ever a starter? Or were you just closer the whole time?
I was an outfielder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was recruited as an outfielder both professionally and in college.
Wow. So I was going to say, because watching you shag was a little bit different. There were a couple pitchers who could hold their own. Yeah, and you were definitely like
I was a
more advanced.
No, I was a defensive. I was a very, very, very special outfielder. And I'm modestly, who gives a crap? But no, yeah, I was a hitter pitcher. But like, I'm sure when I was in high school, I was told that I was probably going to be a pitcher by like professional scouts and stuff.
Yeah,
I had like an insanely strong arm from the outfield, and I had no idea where it was going when I was on the mound. so yeah, but Yeah, my freshman year, I remember I was the starting left fielder. I earned that spot, but didn't last very long. I wasn't given very much of an opportunity, I don't think either, but that's that regardless of that. And then basically could have redshirted my freshman year, but didn't play much at all. And then it was almost like in that world where I was contemplating, what am I doing? Am I playing ball anymore? Like, people were surprised to see me back.
Yeah.
Yeah. People were like, what's this kid doing here? Yeah, what's this bum doing here? This kid was supposed to be, this kid has a full ride. He couldn't even like get it out of the infield. But then I just worked my butt off my freshman summer, blind to any type of like difficulties in regards to any of that. I wish I was still like that. Back then I could just like not care about crap when it came to expectations and
yeah, you could throw it all away.
Yeah. Well, I was maybe a naiveness that is kind of a benefit. But yeah, dude, came back my sophomore year and like from day one only pitched. I was pitcher only and dominated.
Wow.
Somehow I was a starting pitcher and I was given the opportunity to pitch like midweek the first game and struck out like 14. Yeah. And then my next start, next start was like against Clemson. I think Friday night start, and I think I might have thrown a no-hitter. We would have to look it up. I can't remember, but I broke a record. I got co-national pitcher of the week, me and Strasburg. That for that week of like, because they give like, you know, like awards weekly for NCAA. Yeah. And then that was it. And then it was just like a snowball rolling down a hill. Like, I went to the Cape that summer, won the championship there, started the first game and the last game. It's kind of boring, I guess, but like, yeah, just eventually got drafted by the Nationals in the 26th round. But my junior year, I wasn't physically ready for because I pitched too much. I like nonstop pitched. So I went from throwing like 92 to like 79 because I was like 140 pounds at that point in my life. So like during scout day, I'm like, hey, I can't feel my arm, coach. Like, and he's like, you'll be all right. You know, just throw in the 80s, you'll be all right. I was throwing 82. So my stock went down. But yeah.
Oh, man.
But I still got drafted by the Nationals my junior year. I decided to not sign. Got offered a decent amount of money, and then went back to Duke my senior year. Got drafted by the Nationals again. Got offered $200,000 less. signed for nothing. And then that was the beginning of my journey in pro ball.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Simple. You know,
yeah,
simple
but
story.
like just that movement, like, because I'm very boring. It's always been like, I played second base when I was 11 years old, 10, 11. And then it was outfield the whole way. I had a great 13-year-old coach that was like, I'm going to move you to center field and you're going to play there like your entire life. Yeah. And in my mind, I was the little league shortstop, right? The typical, you put your best player at shortstop.
Yeah.
And I had always gone into my 13, 14-year-old year thinking I'm going to be the shortstop, and he had me in the outfield. And then I was talking to the Nationals because I went to a junior college. I went to Miami-Dade.
Yeah.
And the scout asked me in a 3-second conversation, like, have you ever played second base? I'm like, yeah, when I was like 10. That was it. And then I was drafted in 2008 in the 22nd round as a second baseman.
Wait, so I'm trying to remember you because I only remember you as playing outfield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what happened is I didn't even have an infield glove. My buddy Brian Medeiros, who was actually on the podcast with his son,
cool,
gave me an infield glove, and I practiced for like 3 weeks. Went to spring training. They had me at in June, that time frame after you get drafted. I played infield for like 3 weeks. And then they moved me back to center field like a day before the season started and never played infield.
Wow. That's insane. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, but you come across as a second baseman for sure.
It worked. And unfortunately for me, Dustin Pedroia had won like MVP in 2007. He's short. He's from Boston. They're like, that guy. Like,
yeah, but that's a different. You play a different game than he does. I feel
exactly.
From what I remember. Yeah.
So it got kind of balled in, and I was back in the outfield.
Wow, you were an unbelievable outfielder.
Thank you. I loved it, man. I still got it a little bit.
Yeah, I saw a video. You won a championship somewhere recently or something, right? Like,
yes, that's a 28. It's a 28 and up Metro West League here in Massachusetts. Pretty good. Some good competition. So
all right,
that's what makes it fun. But I also get to play with my older brother. That's the beauty of it, man.
Miami-Dade. So you went to school. You're 07, so you're younger.
Yeah, I was there 06 to 08.
My best. Oh, so do you know Mike Hernandez?
I know the name, but I don't know.
So he's like my brother. We're not by blood, but we grew up together. He it's like very, very close to me. He went to Miami-Dade, but he's 42 now. Okay.
Yeah, so he has about 5 years on me.
Yeah, so you guys missed each other by probably 2 years.
Yeah.
So he went to Miami-Dade and went from Miami. And he did Connors, Miami-Dade, and then he went to Oklahoma State for a year where he got drafted out of. Yeah. He got drafted out of Miami-Dade also. I mean, he got drafted like 4 times, I guess.
Yeah, we
once
had
out of high school and then 3 times in college.
Yeah, we had a bunch of people that would like go to UM their freshman year, transfer to Miami-Dade to get drafted, to then use that as stock to either one, sign, or transfer to another 4-year school.
That's funny because when Miami wanted me to go there, they were gonna make me go to Miami-Dade to gain weight. To your school to gain weight my freshman year. To come to Miami. I was so skinny, bro. I was like 140 pounds when I came out of high school.
That was me, but I was like 5'7", 140 pounds.
I mean, I was 6'2", so it's very different.
Yeah. You can run around in the outfield. You'll be fine. I was like,
they don't give a shit.
All right. You could play 140 games at that weight.
Throwing your backflips. I remember your backflips, right? Off of, you were doing, what would you do them? You would do them off the, the wall.
Yeah, I would run up the wall. I always waited for someone to hit a ball back to the wall, catch it, and then run up the wall and do it. But
Savannah Bananas, baby.
I know. It just never happened for me.
I know. Damn, dude.
It would have been nice.
I know.
It would have been nice.
I know.
So let me ask you this. At what point in time did you kind of transfer from did the Nationals draft you as a starting pitcher? How did?
No.
Okay, so they drafted you as.
Yeah, so my junior year, I get drafted. I think they called it draft and follow at the time.
Yeah, there was.
And then I was told by them, they're like, hey, we're going to make you a reliever. So, sign this year or have another year of development with Duke, because I made it clear that if I wasn't getting a certain amount of money, that I was going to go back. Stupidest decision of my life, by the way, side note. Going back to Duke was horrifically stupid, because I think I would have played a decent amount of big league ball if I would have taken like the six figure bonus that they gave me. And money's great. We all know that money's great, but it has nothing to do with that. One thing I learned in baseball is that that's such an investment.
Yep.
For, in a player. And in the 6-7 years that I played, I saw the opportunities that I wasn't getting based upon the amount of money I didn't get, which is completely business, right? It's not that I'm angry at the game for that, because you have to completely understand that if they're investing in something and betting on somebody, whoever they are, they have to be right. Because if they're wrong, then their butt's on the line.
100%, man.
Right. So then that's something I noticed, and I was like, we should have probably taken that and went. But yeah, I didn't. And then I was drafted there really is no relief pitcher draft, but I was drafted as a relief pitcher, and I never started a game in my entire career in pro ball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was drafted as a second baseman, and I pitched and never played second base.
Yeah.
I had one of those cleanup games in high A against the White Sox. It was actually, I think, the year that we won it in 2010.
Oh, crap.
And we were losing 14-0, and they brought me in, and they're like, all right, nothing above 85, no curveballs, nothing. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be fun. It's going to tee off on me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Why are you making me come in and throw BP?
Yeah, I gave up one run. So I have like a 9 ERA.
I think I have like 7 or 8 at bats in Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I got traded, so I got traded to the Reds, for Johnny Gomes, and
Yes.
Delino DeShields was my Double A manager, and me and him became very close. And I'm like, yo, D, I'm a hitter, right? And he's like, BS, Manno. He goes, you're a hitter, huh? He goes, okay, take BP with the pitchers next batting practice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bet. And I'm hitting balls out. I'm like by far the best hitting pitcher. Like, and he's like, okay, I see you. He's like, I see you. So like he would like low key give me at bats once in a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he'd throw me in the outfield once in a while.
That's cool, man. That's a cool manager.
Oh, dude, he was one of my favorites. Maybe my favorite. He's definitely my only manager that I still speak to.
There you go.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
Great family, great guy. And legend also, by the way.
Yeah. We ended up playing against his son. It's
very good.
It's yeah. That's a bloodline.
Yeah.
Was there
his daughter too?
Yeah.
His daughter is a big time basketball player. I don't know where she's at now, but I know that when I was playing, she was unbelievable.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was there a big difference in culture between like the Nationals and the Reds? I know it's kind of different because when you first start out with an organization, like that's the organization and then when you go elsewhere, it kind of doesn't compare in many ways.
I think it's a great question. Man, I'm trying to think of what I'm allowed, like I want to say, because I don't want to be too negative. I think both organizations weren't great.
Yeah.
On a level, and I mean that with the utmost respect. Not great for me, right? And that's a selfish perspective. I don't mean that they weren't good organizations, but developmentally for a non-high draft pick that didn't get a lot of money, I think a lot of high-end prospects slipped through their cracks because they were so focused on the money that they were spending on these, like, on the bigger time guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like both organizations kind of treated a lot of guys like place setters, which I think all organizations do. But then I had conversations with friends who played for like different organizations that had different cultures.
Yeah.
That I could have seen myself fitting in better. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think my journey in minor league baseball, I was blessed. These organizations were awesome. I loved them. But I think that they maybe just weren't a great fit for me.
Well, the tough part that I had too is in 2008, rookie ball.
Yeah.
All-Stars, great, everything like that. 2009, we had a guy, Marcus Jones, who was the starting center fielder. I was the starting left fielder. He had like blew out his ACL in like the second week of the season. So then I moved to center. In like a week later, I dove for a ball at the wall. Like, I thought I broke my thumb, but I'm the idiot, stubborn, Northeast kind of guy. I'm like, I'll play through it.
Yeah.
And was rolling everything over. And no lie, in like 400 at bats, I probably hit like 210.
But the problem with that is that you were trying to survive because you got the opportunity to play center field, and
Exactly.
and in your head you're like, there's no chance in hell that I'm gonna go get sent back to friggin', where were you? You were in A-ball. You're gonna go back to Florida.
Yeah. Exactly.
Screw that.
And I tried to play through it, and there were people who talked to me, you can do it, like stuff like that. And then in 2008, 2009, 2010, I think in those 3 years, they were like 2 to 3 different GMs. So they were bringing in their people, kicking out the old people. So now when the new staff came in, I was just the guy who hit 200.
Yeah, your reputation wasn't there. It was,
I went from making the All-Stars my first year to injured my second year, and then I was just like the phantom guy.
Yeah.
From there on out.
So for me, which was interesting, kind of similar, is like I was on a track to, not just in my head, but from the organization's head, to be on a fast track to be in the bullpen in the big leagues. Mm-hmm. My single A year, 2011, I was the best reliever in the organization, like statistically.
Yeah.
And Doug Harris was saying it. He's like, you're keep going, bro, because there's an opportunity here. Like you might see the show a lot sooner than you could even imagine, than you even thought. And All-Star break, made the All-Star team. I play in the All-Star game. Find out 2 days later, I'm packing my bags and going to another organization. So I went from, probably was gonna get called up to either high A or double A after the break. When I was in Hagerstown, with a prospect level reputation at that point, ish. Not prospect money, but I definitely would have been like a top 20 ranked prospect in the Nationals organization after that season.
Yeah.
Just a restart.
Yeah, it's always a weird ground when you get traded for like a big leaguer.
Yeah.
Like we dealt with that with when the Brewers traded Cutter Dykstra over here. Yeah. I forget who ends up trading. I don't know if it was Nyjer Morgan, but we traded Nyjer Morgan, who was a big leaguer, to the Brewers per se for a Cutter Dykstra, who was a third rounder, son of Lenny Dykstra and stuff like that. Yeah. And I would talk to Cutter about the different organizations because me and him were roommates when we traveled.
Yeah.
And I would just talk to him about like how was that organization in comparison to this one.
Yeah. But I remember the day like it was yesterday. I remember the culture change. Similar culture in regards to not a winning organization at that point.
Yeah.
But they tell me, hey, you're going to California. I'm like, oh my God, I've never been to the West Coast and I'm going to Cali. This is amazing. And I end up in like high desert. Like, I don't know if have you ever played in that league?
No.
So like I was in like the worst part of California. So like literally oil rigs, dude. Like oil rigs, and so they flew me into Sacramento, and then they drove me to the field, and there was brush fires behind center field. So like I'm this city kid who was like, I was in like Hagerstown, Maryland. It wasn't like that much crazy different than Brooklyn. It was different, but like it was still like an inner city, like whatever. And then I'm just like in another organization and like don't know anybody. They don't know me very, very well. Yeah.
I experienced that when I went to indie ball.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only time that I had changed from one organization to another.
Oh, you were only with the Nationals your entire career?
So I was with them for about 5 seasons.
Okay.
2008, 9, 10, 11, and then in 2012, I asked for my release.
Okay.
So I asked Doug Harris because in 2011, I made it up to AAA, played some games there towards the end of the year, and then in 2012, I spent the entire spring training in AAA and like 2 or 3 games in the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
But a week before camp broke, I got staph infection.
Oh, no.
So my big thing with the ending of my career was I had gotten staph infection 14 times, and I've had 2 surgeries because of it.
You want to hear a crazy story?
Yeah.
The end of my career with the Reds, I had staph infection.
What did you get it in a specific? Where was
my finger? My left finger. I don't know if I can't. Let me see if I can show you. All right, here we go. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
We'll do that. We'll do that. We'll take a picture of it and we'll prop it in.
Ish.
Yeah.
So, they dropped me down to do some sidearm shit, and it was really going well. And then one day I had a pimple on my hand, and I come into the clubhouse, and the trainer was like, "Oh, I got it," and just like pops it with no gloves on.
Yep.
And it wasn't an infected pimple at the time; it was just like an ingrown. And I think he had something on his hands from touching someone else, and it was scary. So it blew up, and then I get called up. So I'm still throwing. I'm actively throwing.
Wow.
Right? I'm like not really saying. I'm like, hey, this is not going to be better. They give me medication, and I'm still throwing. And then I get a phone call, and they're like, "Hey, Manno, you're gonna leave in 2 days to go to Pensacola AA, but you're probably gonna end up in AAA the next week. You're just gonna do some rehab assignments, blah blah blah, whatever." I checked myself into the hospital that night. Not through the Reds. Not through the Reds. I went to the ER because I had a line that was going up my arm to my chest.
Yep.
Dude, and they were mistreating it.
It is crazy. When I was in New Jersey my last year, we're in the playoffs, and this is in Indie Ball. We're in the playoffs, and they used a Sharpie and drove a big circle around my leg to see if it expanded.
Mm-hmm.
And it was blowing up so much. But let me tell you, I was so on fire that year. I was like, I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out. It literally got to the point where I couldn't even go out from like 2 p.m. to before the game because I couldn't run.
Did it get in your bloodstream or no?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, dude.
Yeah, I was screwed. Both my last 2 years of playing, I had to be pulled out of the championship series and rushed to the hospital. One year was my wrist, so I could barely throw the ball. And the next year was my knee, and I had knee surgery.
Yeah, I went through it too, man. I'm with you 100%. I went in. I was in the hospital for 2 days. They did a surgery on me in an emergency level because they were like, this is about to be in your heart.
Oh yeah, especially if you have it.
Yep.
Once it starts to travel and you can see the travel, it's already past the point. It's kind of like when you first get staph. You see the pimple and you haven't realized that that's already been brewing for a month underneath.
Oh yeah.
So usually, like with the knee, it's they have to put put the wick in there. Yep.
So they gave me the procedure, and then I had to keep it open. As you know, you can't close it.
Yep.
So then I'm treating it in spring training in Goodyear, Arizona, in the middle of nowhere, getting into trouble, like not able to play ball. So I'm like, lost. And I said, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I went into the office and asked for my release. And at that point, it was like the best feeling I ever had in my life. I was like, wow, I'm like very happy about this. Like, I'm going to go home and I have a blank canvas to pursue music and
Yeah.
And I have a lot of things about me that are interesting, but I took a train home from Arizona to New York City.
Oh, wow. That's
cool. It's cool. And on the train, Doug Harris called me. And he's like, Manno, did you get released? And I was like, no, I quit. He goes, what? He was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I quit. I'm done. He goes, what do you mean you're done? Your stats are unbelievable. He goes, what do I got to do? I was in Chicago when he called me. I was in my train layover. So the train goes Arizona, so Flagstaff, Arizona, somehow gets to Chicago, whatever. And I had like a 7-hour layover. And I was in a mall. And he's like, what do I got to do? What do I got to do? And I was like, money? I was like, I think it'd be cool. I said my exact words to him were like, I think it'd be cool to make money. Like, I don't know if I want to. I was brutally honest with him.
At that point in time, you could say, I'm not this young kid out of college anymore. I've seen it. I've seen how it works.
But not only that, I was also like, it'd be pretty cool to actually make money playing.
Yes.
So like I remember this realization where I was just like, I'm the only organization that I would have signed with were the Nationals because they're familiar with me and because it's all local to where I live.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of the farm systems were in at that point was in a short radius.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got plenty of offers when I got released. I got the Pirates. I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. But he offered me that. Remember how like guys were making $10,000 a month?
Yeah.
He gave me a $10,000 a month contract.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, Doug, I'll do it. Let's go.
That's so cool, man. Yeah. Usually that comes with people who have a couple years in AAA, or you went to the big leagues for a little bit of time, and then the next year you come back to AAA. Because we knew people that were making, you know, when you first moved up, like when I first went to AAA, it was like $2,400 a month.
Yeah, it was so. How different was that?
In that time, I was like, I'm balling.
Seriously, dude, it's double your check. It's more than double what you're making.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but to get more on like track to make it more of an interesting story, because the most interesting part of my life in baseball was two things. I'll give you like good content, I would say. I struggled with music the entire time, but I really also struggled with mental health the entire time. So a combination of the two, I had a very amazing professional baseball experience, but at the same time, I was so torn in so many different ways. You know, like, I think that I fully wasn't able to seize the moment because of anxieties and things that I was dealing with at the time. I was very restricted by that. Like, obviously we all want to perform at 100%, give 100% of us to whatever our craft is, our family, our children. I don't want to throw a crazy number, but I think I was less than 30% there.
Wow.
And I would even say that number is dramatically less. Because, bro, you have to realize, like, I was being left to do nothing for 90, like, it comes full circle back what I was saying. And, like, it was almost like I was, like, marinating in this, like, life crisis of, like, I only had time to think about my issues of whatever, anxieties, and don't need to go into it, but they were there. And then this strong passion for something that I really love that I truly couldn't pursue, but I was definitely distracted by. And you were a prime example of seeing it, right? Like, this, when I remember specifically when we played together, which was a very short period of time, by the way, I think.
Yeah.
I think you might have gotten hurt or something.
Yeah. Well, at that point in time, when you were in that phase of 2010, 2011, I was already on that way out. Like,
because you were a high level guy. You were already you already had been in AAA. You had been in AA at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had already done that, but I had always come back down, found a way off rosters because this guy in AA got healthy, so I get kicked back.
Right.
I turned into a journeyman, and then I started to just enjoy wherever I was because that's all you really had to do.
But you're a good guy, though. So your personality, I feel like that's kind of would be a natural progression for you. You're not, you know those guys that are miserable wherever they go.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah, right.
I know. Trust me. In 2010, I won the championship in High A with Potomac.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I didn't break camp, and I hit 400 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they had certain guys. So
Doesn't
matter. Me and this other guy, Nick, in 2010 split time literally as the center fielder. I played 70 games. He played the other 70. And then I ended up getting the nod towards the back end of the season where I was just playing every day, hitting well, hit over 400 in the playoffs, was like the runner-up MVP. Bill Reinhart ended up getting MVP because he dropped bombs. And
me and Reinhart got traded together, by the way.
Yeah.
That's so it wasn't me straight up for Gomes. It was me and Reinhardt for Gomes. Sorry, side note.
That's a good trade for them because Dollar Bill and you.
Yeah. Yo, he was a good dude.
He was a good dude, man, and he could swing. Yeah. And the next year I didn't break camp, and I started in 2011 in short season.
Yeah. So I mean that's just it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. But getting back to my point, that blessed to meet you. You know what I'm saying? Like we came across each other, and I don't know if you remember it too well, but we would go on the road, and I would have an extra bag that Mahalik and Dawback would let me bring on the bus. That was only music equipment, 2 studio monitors, a full microphone setup. I think I had a fucking compressor with me, dude. I think I had an outboard compressor, like. Psychopath.
I remember you used to have a bunch of stuff on you all the time. I think it was at spring training one year. You had everything set up, and I'm like, this is like a studio.
Yeah, dude. And like, but that's to my point. like essentially like it wasn't a pastime. It was a get through it thing. And don't get me wrong, music was a passion and a love of mine, but I wasn't okay during pro ball. You know, I wasn't okay. I wasn't thriving. And it's my story, right? Like that's my own individual story. I can't speak on anybody else, but I'm sure a lot of people went through it also where, you know, there's no help when we were playing. There's no, you know, guidance that really kind of is tailored towards active minds, for example. I was an extremely active minded person. Like, you know, I was just marinating in my own crap when I was standing in the outfield, kind of not being allowed to shag, to stay, not because I was in the way, but then I would go after a ball and like I was getting yelled at, so I went back on the warning track, and like then I would go sneak and like hang out with the grounds crew, you know, and, like get in trouble for that. Like,
oh, there's some times in baseball that can be dark.
Yeah,
when I talked about depression, it was like when I left baseball.
Oof, weird,
because it's, well, for me, it was what I had. It was my identity. I was a baseball player. The only thing there was like two things that helped me. Number one, my then girlfriend, now my wife, she had seen all the good and bad for me. She was there before I signed the contract in 2008.
Oh, wow.
And she was there at that time when I had decided to leave.
Wow.
But, yeah, I didn't know what to do with myself. The only thing the second thing that helped me is that I made the decision to leave because of health reasons. You know, staph infection. You have it 14 times.
No,
multiple
I had
surgeries.
it once, and I couldn't imagine what you went through. Jeez.
It was just
it
was so psychological where I'm like, I'm finally starting to be the baseball player I used to be, but why can I not stay healthy?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think a part of me, just to speak on my own, was similar to you, but I subconsciously was creating this distraction. Like music was a part of my life. I did it in college, and you know, I was around pretty serious musicians when I was in college. Like Mike Posner made it in music. Big Sean was around a little bit, not really like at all, but he was there and with good friends with Mike Posner, and then the kid Mike. Are you familiar with Mike, the other kid? He's a rapper. He's from Rhode Island.
I'd have to. What's his last name?
Just Mike. He went by Mike Stud out of college, and now he's Mike.
I've heard.
Dot.
Okay, I've heard Mike Stud.
Okay, so he like changed his name, but regardless, he's a successful musician. Yeah. Regardless, right? And I just like was sitting around, just like knowing that my chances on like a numbers level weren't very high. So I think, hindsight, I was kind of like subconsciously creating distractions for myself to kind of protect my inevitable like departure from baseball, which is a horrible way to go about it. Looking back as like a 30-something-year-old guy, you know, like, but
when that's your truth at that moment, oh yeah, that's what people don't understand too. A lot of like. Because I had talks with people once I left that they're like, why would you leave? And it's like, because you're still caught up on the team that's on my jersey. Like other people, because I asked, same with you, I asked for my release from the Nationals, and I talked to Doug Harris, and he's like, take 24 hours and think about it. And I was still on the bench from Tuesday to Wednesday. So after Wednesday's game, it was a weird bus ride back. But I had known. I'm like, I'm going to ask for my release once we get back to Hagerstown.
Yeah, there's like a bright light that you see that it's like an invigorating like for me, it was an invigorating departure when I left. Yeah, I kind of like was like I was excited in a way. It's kind of strange because we started the podcast by talking about like growing up, and it was like my identity. It was the only thing I did. You know, and like you have this movie moment where it's like the montage of like all of the practices with the person who, you know, for me it was my pops, and like the friends, and like my grandfather growing up next to Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, and like being so proud of me for whatever. And like, you just see all of it happen. I mean, maybe I'm thinking of like, I had this weird mind, just like a little bit of an artsy type of abstract way of thinking, but I see it all like this thing and all of a sudden you're in that moment.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking in that 24-hour period that if I did leave, like, you don't think it's going to happen this way.
Oh yeah.
You think you're going to have this long, illustrious career. And then at that point in time, like, they had moved me back to Hagerstown for like a week. So it wasn't the people that I had come to play with the whole time. Because I came up with like Steve Lombardozzi and Destin Hood and a bunch of those guys who ended up making it. And I was there with a lot younger guys in the bus ride back. And I'm like, who do I even tell anyone here?
Right.
When I got back,
so I guess this is like a really good like catalyst, maybe even for your podcast, because I think that Between the Lines is a dope name. But like for me, it's like baseball. The most important part of baseball were the people that didn't make it for me, right? Like,
because there's so many more.
Well, it's astronomically more, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to say things that may be slightly negative, but it's constructive negative talk. It's not like, I feel I had an amazing experience with baseball.
Yeah.
It was part of my life. I feel no way about it negatively, but I look at it on a logistical and on a human level. And I think it had the ability to be such a positive light in so many people's lives, because that's what my experience as a inner city kid was in the organization that I played for. We didn't have any money, right? We were funded. We were a nonprofit organization in which the person who was running it barely made ends meet.
Yeah.
But I'll throw his name out because he deserves it. Mel Zitter, legendary coach, as I said before. What do you think his expectations were percentage-wise of the kids that were playing for his organization to make it to pro ball, let alone the big leagues, but pro ball, right?
Yeah, seriously.
And look, we were definitely on the upper echelon in the country of like percentages of a youth organization getting to professional baseball. Like, we were very special, but even us, like, it was 10% of us, which is extraordinarily high, probably, right? But like 10% of us played pro ball. I mean, maybe 10 to 15 in my group coming up. But what I realized is that Mel was there for that, but Mel was more there for the kids who weren't going to make it, and he was creating opportunities for those kids to get educated, to be able to get out of the situations that they're in, to live a life that they deserve to, because they're good people and good come from good families that can't really control that, right? On a financial level. I think Major League Baseball has such the power to do that, but yet they don't do that. And that's what I was always very confused about when it came to ball on a professional level, right? Like, I think that they could have facilitated so much for people post-career and set up programs to help, especially like, bro, what about the kids who made all that money who just didn't know what to do with it?
Oh, I know. The education factor of it all was just, even in the off seasons, maybe that's why you have an agent. I'll tell you what, it's tough to find agents.
Yeah, but you're essentially representing the organization, right?
Yeah.
Like to me, it's like I was their property in a certain way. And like, I don't know, it'd be so nice to have a Nationals alumni dinner where in Florida they get us together and they see how we're doing. Or like, what about a career day in spring training for the possibility that maybe this won't work out? Yeah. And how you can set yourself up and do these things X, Y, and Z to set yourself up for the transition into real life.
Yeah. Because that's for a majority.
Yeah, man, and the majority of people who go through that transition seriously suffer during it.
Yeah.
Maybe for the long run, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely have my days where, I know that I could have done things in a better way if I would have had a better education. And I was blessed to have the family to be up my butt about it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't imagine being the kid who is off the boat from DR, who made $20,000, who has been sending his checks to his mom and dad and then gets cut with no ability and no education to stay in the U.S., get sent back, and then, you know.
And by the
tough.
way, that is dozens of kids. That's probably dozens from every organization. Because
you're 30, right? Let's not forget the fact that you're not 18 anymore. You're not 19. These kids were in the organization since they were 16 years old. They were there until they were 28, and now they're a 28-year-old with zero life experience, zero craft other than baseball. You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, it's so true, man. Like even coming home in the off seasons in Massachusetts, you have to hit indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have to offer people, hey, I'll give free hitting lessons if I can hit here for free. So you would have the facility be able to take in $40, $60, $80, $100 an hour for me to then go be able to hit for an hour.
And I'm saying this constructively. I'm not saying this in a way where I'm like crapping on Major League Baseball, because I believe that it gave me so much life experience that is undeniable and like you cannot learn anywhere else. And so maybe that's the caveat to it, right? But I say it because I personally want to approach Major League Baseball and like have that conversation where it's like, hey man, because I know we had this one program that was set up. I don't know if you remember. There was a guy that came in, but he was like a 90-year-old dude who like everyone kind of like liked, but they like laughed at him. Do you remember this guy?
No.
Yeah, like his name was Bud something. It doesn't matter. I just wish that there was my dream post baseball, if I had the ability to do it, would be to like help the people who have a difficult time transitioning into normal life.
And it's probably very high. Just talking to a lot of players post baseball years later, because I didn't talk about it with anyone other than Kayla.
Yeah.
About the tough times. I couldn't watch it on the TV because 2 years after you're playing, you're watching your friends on TV.
All of them.
You know, and then you're you know, I remember watching at one of her friends. We had gone to a wedding and we're watching it on TV, and I'm just sitting there watching. I'm like, I want to cry right now.
Yeah. I'm with you, bro. I didn't watch baseball up until like last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was very tough.
Yeah.
So, but with you too, so when you were done with baseball, you had talked about just music being this unbelievable passion. I saw it from back in the 2010, 2011 time frame as well.
Yeah. When
did you start going about that a little bit more seriously and more involved?
So we were talking about off seasons recently. You mentioned it, and there was an off season when I was with the Nationals after the year I got traded. When I came back, I went to school for music production, and I got a degree in engineering with Ableton. So Ableton is a DAW, a digital audio workstation. They call them DAWs. That was the beginning of it being something where I was starting to bridge the gap. So biggest thing for me in music when it came to an educational thing was the inability to hear something in my head and not be able to translate that exactly onto a record. Right? Because people who have a musical mind like yourself, the biggest difficulty is getting what you hear and what you want to get onto the software or onto a recording onto it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what they call bridging the gap. And that was something that I didn't realize how much time it was going to take for me as a self-producing artist to learn how to do. So it started that year during Pro Ball, but wasn't taken seriously until a year after I stopped baseball. So I asked for my release, took the train back, signed with the Nationals because of Doug, spent only 3 months with AA Harrisburg. And a weird situation happened where Mahalik calls me into the office, and he's like, "You're not going to believe this, but they're releasing you." And I'm like, "Why?" Not. Wow. I was performing. My numbers were unbelievable. It's for a different conversation, but it was a political thing within the organization because of another left-handed pitcher who had a big last name because of somebody else. But I won't go into it. But at the end of the day, I was completely at peace with it. Like, I was just I signed with the Nationals because I wanted to see if I had a chance, a quick way to get up to the bigs. But I knew it was highly unlikely. So I left there with a smile on my face. Genuinely, not, I gave Chris a hug. I actually was, Double A was coached by Mahalik and Dahlback, who when I got traded, they were my managers in Hagerstown.
Dude, real quick, when I asked for my release in 2012 or whatever, Dahlback was the coach in Hagerstown. Yeah. And then when I told him about it, he used to coach a team in Massachusetts in indie ball, and he called the New Jersey coach for me. He's like, "Dude, I'm gonna make some calls and get you a job."
Great guy.
He got me a job in indie ball, and I was like, "You didn't have to. Thank you."
Yeah, that dude's a real one. But yeah, so I would say post baseball, completely lost. I thought I had to make money right away. I had my then girlfriend, my now wife. Biggest support, crazy. Like, I'd be nowhere without her. So I did like real estate for like a year and was completely out of my element. Like, I was just like wearing a suit behind a desk with other guys wearing a suit. And I was kind of like, I would always ask them, why are we wearing suits when we're not doing anything but sitting in this room together wearing suits? This makes no sense. So I'm just like, didn't work out. And then I brewed beer. I brewed beer for a year as like I was making music, but I was also a professional brewer at a brewery. So like, I was always interested in like fermentation. This is fun, hilarious. When I was in college, I got a minor in possession of alcohol. I was like young. I wasn't 21 until like the middle of my college senior year. So I made this pact. I'm not going out and drinking anymore. If I'm drinking beer, I'm gonna make my own beer. Carried into my like life, and I like brewed beer for a year. Loved that, but I was, as you know, in New York City and in Brooklyn, it's an artist world. So a lot of people in the industry are in the music industry are also paralleled into the service industry. Yeah. That was kind of the reasoning why I was there, because the head brewer was a musician. And then I slowly started to become this bridging the gap musician where I put my 10,000 hours in, where I was making song after song in pain, in love, in hurt, in anxiety, in fear. And I mean, music is so strange when you're doing it, when you build your studio. Like, this is version 3.1, call it. Like, this is the third studio I've built for myself. And you just learn, bro. You bridge the gap, and you be able to make whatever you want, whenever you want it. And then it's up to what we were talking about prior to starting. Like, how do I not just do the pod, right? How do I edit it? How do I, get it out there? What's my image? What's the color scheme? How does my camera look? Like, how do I make, all that stuff. Yeah. And that was the beginning of my journey. The beginning of my journey was a couple years after pro ball. I was this person who said he did music, and everyone knew me as the music guy, but I truly was full of it. I was full of crap. I didn't throw 100% of my being into it. And when I did, I was given a gift that I will have forever, and I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And one quick thing I'll tell you, the turning point in my music career was COVID. It was definitely COVID. So during COVID, this is a somber story, but also a beautiful one. City shuts down. I'm a little bit of a health freak, like on an anxiety level. And I've gotten worse as age goes along. It's kind of crazy, but whatever. Yeah. I digress. It's a problem for my wife. And as you know, like, the world shut down. And that was version 1 of my studio. So I couldn't, at that time, I started to get these really big opportunities with labels and big artists. I started to write for people. And people I would never think, wow, I would ever be in a room with. And COVID hits. I had all these studio sessions booked with all these big artists, blah, 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 blah. The only way to get anywhere during COVID was to have your own studio. Because if you didn't have your own, I mean, I wish I could turn the camera around, but, you know, I have an inboard compressor. I have an inboard, like, analog, you know, preamp. It's an investment. So I invested in that. And my mom and I built it. Wow. And then during that period, my mom ends up getting breast cancer. So not only was I stuck in the house, right, during this, well, we didn't know what it was, right? We were being told a million different things. Doesn't matter what you believe in, but like, it was insane. And then I had to deal with my mom. Well, she had to deal with it. I sound like a selfish person when I say that, but we had to deal with my mom going through chemo and then losing her hair, the whole thing, like what you see in the movies, that's what we went through. And it was this concentrated version of it because of the inability to leave the house. So I had 2 things, right? I had the basement where I built the studio, and then I had the care for my mom, because a lot of the hospital stuff wasn't fully working. So she had to do a lot of things during her treatment that wasn't really the norm for that, right? And that was eye-opening for me, right? Because that 10,000 hours happened a lot faster than if I would have just been that Brooklyn kid in the city distracted by the million things I can go do. Yeah. It was music, and it was my mom. And you know, I am, and I'll say this, which is a crazy thing to say. I'm blessed for that period of my life, because it made me into whoever I am today. It made me into that musically. You know, musically, it turned me into something completely different. You know, I was in so much pain and I was in so much fear. And like I mentioned before, my health anxiety is something I deal with. Like, I'm very not good with anxiety, but biggest fear was in front of me. And on an artistic level, it opened up this eye that I never had. So yeah, wow. I mean, my mom's doing really well now. She's in remission. She's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I was going to ask that next. Yeah. Like, no, 2020, it would either make you or break you. Like you said, that's the same thing I say when I talk about COVID, because I know everyone has their different viewpoints. And I'm like, I think we're past talking about that. I think the only thing you can talk about, that it was real enough to shut things down. Yeah. And change how things worked. I work for a company now, unbelievable company. There's still people who work home, like, remotely.
Oh, yeah.
And it was such a big atmosphere of, like, the culture was always a big thing where I worked. And you see it with a lot of these other companies, of people that I know that are in these companies as well, of like, the work culture has changed. And it's changed, who knows if forever, but God, that had to have been tough too, because, like, you're trapped inside with all of that going on and trying to do music. And then
there wasn't any trying. It was kind of like I only did 2 things. Yeah. So, like, truthfully, I don't want to sound like ignorant, but it wasn't tough. It was like I had a job with my mom, and was I really helping? No, I wasn't giving my mom chemo, right? Like, but like on a support level, her coming downstairs, like, looking like crap, and like me seeing her and being like, you look okay today. You look a little yellow, you know, and getting a genuine, like, mother-son interaction where she knew she wasn't getting smoke blown up her butt from, like, a random nurse. I don't know. Like, I really truly haven't, like, I never had a moment where I broke down in it. Maybe I will one day, or maybe music was my breakdown. Maybe, like, I was throwing a lot towards the emotions of the writing and music. But it was a very interesting time in my life. In a non, like, political way. Like, I didn't really care much whether who believed what. I was kind of just like, okay, this is the situation. My city is shut down. There's no opportunity to do anything in regards to public spaces. So I'm going to make music. I didn't sleep, dude. I didn't sleep.
Just made music and took care of mom.
I just made music and did what I could. In my head, I was taking care of my mom, but realistically, my mother was taking care of herself. She was killing it.
Yeah.
You know, she was doing great. Like, she was really, she's a beast. I don't know. I mean, I can't even conceptualize how that woman or any woman does what they do. But when it comes to me selfishly, it was like mom, music, and there was like food was like the third priority.
Yeah.
You know? So, but that changed my life. And that journey is still kind of, I chose something, as you know, that is another baseball.
Yes.
You know? So it's like, but maybe that's the closer in me. You know, maybe that's the closer in me. So,
yeah, because music can be tough. Music can be tough to, so-called make it as well.
Yeah.
You probably picked the two toughest avenues.
And it's funny because like when I sit in bed with frustration, sometimes I might think that once in a while, but I don't know, when I'm creating, when I'm working with artists, when I see the light at the end of the tunnel for a project, or I see what something could be, it doesn't ever feel that way.
Yeah.
And I've released 5% of what I've made in my life. There's a lot that's about to happen that I'm very excited about, but I'm blessed that I was able to bridge that gap because of the different moments in my life, like baseball, post baseball, the COVID times, going through just like anyone else's life. Like, we all have our journeys and our challenges and our things that we weren't expecting, Yeah. So,
do you remember your first ever performance?
Yeah. I gotta think. So my first ever big performance, or my first ever like just performance in general?
Either one, whatever one's more exciting. Because I'm just trying to think of like, the feeling that you get when that actually happens.
So I'll tell you my first ever big performance. So I was invited to do a performance at a place called the Brooklyn Steelhouse. So it's like a 5,000 to 10,000 person venue. It's like one of those warehouses that's just like gigantic.
Yeah.
And I did a song with this artist that I wrote the song for. I wrote and was the co-artist on the song, and it was in front of like 5,000 people. And it's just like, at that point I was only doing like 300-400 person shows, and usually as a feature also. And it felt identical to pitching. It was the same thing.
Wow.
There was nothing different in any which way whatsoever. It felt like I was in the bullpen. When I was in the green room, I was in the bullpen. I had those nerves when I was warming up, but the second that I hit that stage, I know I was meant to do it. And yeah, there was like times in that performance when I was like a little bit like out of space, like in outer space, where I just out of body experience. But same thing in baseball when you're just like in front of 10,000 people and like, how am I like, damn, I feel good. Like, like, wow, like I'm gassed up. This is great. Same thing. And then that's the problem, right? The problem is that, oh shit, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to do this. So that Brooklyn Steelhouse performance was definitely like closing a game in front of a playoff game, or like I remember when I was in front of like a bunch of scouts when I was in like college in the Cape, when I was just like throwing 3 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour harder than I probably physically was able to, just because of that, just like,
yeah. Oh yeah. That adrenaline's rushing and taking over, and you're kind of at your peak.
But the best performances of my life were the performances that weren't those type of songs in intimate settings.
That was the other thing I wanted to ask you too. Like, what was your, like, Did you have a preference, or do you have a preference of those bigger arenas versus that small kind of club that is more personal?
So obviously I would love, like, I'm not at the stage in my career by any means to do big arenas by myself or like, not, you know, like that's not even a thought right now. Like,
Yeah.
but the truth of the matter is that we were talking about my journey in music, and, you know, I got caught up in this EDM world, which you kind of got to take the traction when you're given the traction. Because the thought process is like, okay, you know, for example, this artist Jaws gave me an opportunity. He's like a big EDM artist. And like, I could name 20 other people who I've done work with, right? But it all became the same genre of music where it's kind of just like the and you're kind of like a second thought on it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like writing really good stuff to like really good stuff, in my opinion, to like stuff that's not going to have like a very long life. It's got to be like, it's going to be like, hey, if it doesn't get on a playlist within the first week, it's probably not going to do crap. And then that's going to be in the backwash, and you're just waiting for the next opportunity. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when I play my own music, that's not that kind of music. That's kind of like singer-songwriter stuff, hip hop influence, R&B influence, pop influence, you know, with a guitar player and me. That's a pocket for me.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I don't care if there's one person there or 1,000 people there or 10,000 people there. It would feel the same because it's where I'm comfortable. That's just a little side bar of.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it's such a feeling too. Like performing.
Yeah.
Performing in front of other people at that point in time to say, like, are they going to like this? How am I going to perform? Am I going to do well? I've talked to people that, you know, I had first name Shane on here. He's a rapper. We went to school together and we talked about that too. And I asked him, like, did you bring a bottle of water? Because your first time performing, sometimes you go a little bit harder.
Yeah.
In your first, you know, your first few bars, maybe, you know, your first verse. And then you finish the first song, and you're like, I can't breathe. I don't have any saliva, and I have to do 4 more songs.
Yeah, dude. It's not only that, right? It's like I keep bringing this up. You have to correct me, or I'll get made fun of at some point for this if people make fun of me. But is it 10,000 hours? It's a 10,000 hour rule, right?
10,000 hours is when you technically master the craft, essentially.
So like, that goes for everything, and performing is like, it's that, like, in like I'm sure you've been to a bunch of concerts where you see someone you love. They've already done their 10,000 hours most likely at that point. So like, their naturalness on stage, granted, there probably are people who are very like gifted to be on stage, but yeah, bro, like the first 10 times I was on stage, it's like, I remember looking at the because you always get like pro people to like shoot dope videos of you for content. Yeah. And I remember being like, yo, Chris, like, speaking in the third person, like, Manno, your eyes look crazy. Like, you got to calm down, guy. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, everyone's going to think that you're like on crack. Like, what's happening right now? And then like your body movements, and like, it's the same thing as like an at bat. Like, you could tell when a kid just got drafted and he has his first 100 at bats, like, oh yeah, swinging at pitches out of the zone, doing things that you wouldn't normally do, like overthrowing as a pitcher, right? Like spiking breaking balls when you know, I remember as a pitcher, it was always like my 10,000 hours, I graduated when I was able to like try less.
When you could trust your skill, your ability, your experience to kind of show up and perform.
Throwing 100% effort, I was throwing 91. Throwing 92% effort, I was throwing 93. 90, you know? Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, like, you know, and that's kind of like the same with, dude, anything in life. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer, a doctor, a garbage man in New York City, which is a great job, by the way, or a famous singer. You know, like, you got to put your time in, or else you're going to be, you know? Yeah. And we all mess up.
There's a certain level of like, when you become so good at something, you can kind of fall back on it and let some of the instincts take over to give you that certain quality every single time you show up.
Yeah. And I'm not even there yet when it comes to performing, you know? And I'm not even there yet when it comes to music. Like, my journey in music, in my opinion, not that it's just beginning, but like, I really found a pocket that I love, and I think is that I think that people will love, and that was the strip of the socials. It was a bit of a frustration strip, but it was also like also trying to cleanse myself of the music and beautiful connections that I gained along the way. By the way, there's no like animosity towards anyone I ever worked with. It's more like you have to create your own image, or else you're just going to become the image of whoever wants to use you for whatever image they're using at that moment.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and sometimes you're lucky enough to kind of see it in that situation. Some people don't. Some people will spend 20 years going down this road, and for you to be able to look at yours and say, "This is what I want to do," and it might be something different.
Yeah, and along the way, I'm going to be writing for other artists, and that's going to be something that I love doing, and writing with other artists. Let me not say for, writing with other artists. But yeah, I have some really special stuff, I believe, that is going to take me somewhere. I don't know. Like, I think that it's going to, I think it's going to be great. I sent you those things. You got to take a listen to them. I think that you'll be fond of some of the stuff.
Yeah. I've always liked your music, even because even in the early days, hearing you kind of perform music early on, like, because we had done like hip hop type of music. Yeah,
I would say like hip hop pop. You were the hip hop part of it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, it was hip hop.
You were, you're for everyone listening, this is not a joke. Like, this dude is, he has flow, he has bars, he sounds great. I remember one thing I remember about you, it was that, this is going to sound, it's a kind of a technical thing, a music technical thing, but whatever. I remember, like, I would record myself and I would always be like, God, man, why does this take so much work to make me sound good? I'm just like, damn, like it's not coming out how I want it. Like the clarity, the whatever, like, and I remember like recording other guys. I'm like, oof. But then I remember when we recorded, I was like, oh crap. I was like, yo, this guy sounds great right off the jump. Like there's a clarity, or like this, you just sounded professional.
Thank you.
We got to find that song.
Yeah, I think about it from time to time because I get jealous when I hear, because you'll write something and perform something, and it's to that point of like, my brother said it really well to me one time, and he's like, I wish I would have written that. And I think I messaged you. It was probably a couple of years ago. We always go back and forth where I listen to your music and I'll overkill it and listen to it. And I had sent you something like, damn, I wish I was there to remix that song, man.
Yo, you're always welcome, bro. Like, you're always welcome. I'm dead serious. You're always welcome to, like, why not? Bro, throw a bar on something. You shouldn't be shy about that. You shouldn't, I'm going to tell you one thing. I was laughing about this, the last guy I was talking to, because I told you, I was hilariously had 2 podcasts today, which makes no sense because I haven't done a podcast in like 8 months. It's just like whatever. Yeah, and I'm like, I lost my train of thought. I'm like, yo, the biggest thing about my tough journey in music was I was always so insecure or tentative to like ask the people that I've already come across to like be involved in it in some way.
And that's what I'm getting back to with this podcasting too. Because I had asked you, and I'm like, I love the baseball, the music. There's not a lot of people that I share that that literally those 2 same traits. I mean, music is less now for me, obviously, but I've kind of transitioned into doing this because there's just people that I want to talk to and spend time with.
Do you find yourself to be like an emotional person when it comes to relationships with like people that you don't really talk to anymore, or like I
do. Yeah, I do. I'm very much so an introvert in many ways. I wear a great mask. Yeah. If I'm out in public, if I'm out doing that, I can be outspoken, which is weird. I know there's the joke of like, why would you do a podcast because it's like, it's personal right now. It's me and you. We're talking about old times and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot of relationships that I'll hold on to, and I I put them in their own special place in their special time.
Because the reason why I asked that is because I'm also still guilty of it, by the way. I'm not like this. I'm not like teaching anybody anything, by the way. I still have my extreme shortcomings when it comes to social issues on a professional level. But the reason why I ask is because baseball, you just described baseball, right? Like, you just described how we were taught to be, right? Like, that you got to show like the face, everything is good. And the truth is like, we put on a good act, but I was the same way. And a sidebar to that, which is kind of related, is, and I asked you if you were emotional, because I was so emotional when it came to collaborating, when it came to speaking to people, whether it was advice or sending something that I think they would like, or like insecurities about the side note. This has nothing to do with you. It's just kind of a point that I think is important as an artist to like talk about. Yeah. Artist, podcaster, athlete, doesn't matter.
Everything. You got to be able to talk about it.
Yeah. And then I realized that people don't give a crap. Like, people aren't taking, most people are not malicious, right? Most people will see a message on Instagram and be like, "Oh, cool, that kid's dope. I'll get back to him. But I got to take care of this right now." And then there's so much going on in today's world when it comes to social media, opportunities. If you're not, you're behind, and that message will get like slipped back. Oh yeah. But when I first started music, I remember being like, "Yo, how's this guy not hitting me back up?" Like, you're like,
I just sent it though. What do you mean you're not looking?
He left me on red. He left me on red, and on SoundCloud, I could track to see if he looked at it. He listened to every single song at one time. Were they not good? Does he not like me? Do I look too old? Am I in my 30s and music isn't really for someone like me? Do I come across in a way where like people don't like me? Or is this guy an ass? Like, is this guy just a not a good guy? Why isn't he responding? And then I'll hit him up again, or hit her up again. The truth is that you have to be annoying in a respectful way when it comes to any media industry, right? Like, kind of like baseball. Like, you're how tall? 5'7". So 5'7", 145 when you were playing. Yeah. You're a perfect example of somebody who had to knock down every door to get his opportunity, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that is like the lesson that I'm starting to really try to live by when it comes to not just music, right? But music. Like, I'm talking about music. Like, for me personally, music. Like, I have to knock down those doors because I'm not a 19-year-old kid who Sony is looking to sign.
Yeah, that they can, not that you couldn't have 10 years in the game, but they're looking at 10 years from 19 to 29 as opposed to 30 plus to 40 plus.
But I'm so okay with knocking down those doors and being that like guy who's like, "Oh, dude, by the way, that guy like played pro ball 10, 12 years ago. No one heard of his music until just now." Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, oh, and now he's playing in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, selling out a stadium. That's the kind of like vision that I believe you have to have as like if you're a motivated person, right? Like, if you're starting a career in something. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's sometimes you'll downplay the fact that you played baseball. But there's a ton of people who find it interesting, and it turns into a way to connect with people.
For sure.
Everyone has to find their own certain things. Like, for us, you might see baseball as like a cheesy way to get in the door, but everyone's going to use their little ways of getting in certain doors, and some people find it interesting. You never know who you're going to come across.
It definitely gets me into doors.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, maybe it gets, maybe I get kicked out of that door faster by getting in that door the way I did. But, I definitely can see that. And I think that you're right. 100%.
I think one thing I've learned about professional baseball, and we've talked about this a little bit before, it's also the process behind what is visible. So the fact that I've played professional baseball in my industry of work, they see it as, one, he can stick something out for a long period of time. Two, it's baseball. He can fail, get back up, and perform.
Yeah. Like a lot of the military guys that I talk to, a lot of friends and family who are in the military, they also feel like they had this great experience. Their life is foundationally built on it, but also they were kind of left on their ass post it.
It's very regimented. It's teamwork. It's perseverance.
Mm-hmm. My biggest issue is structure.
Yeah.
I was given that structure, I think that's what you're kind of getting at, is that it was like very militant in structure, and like,
correct.
Much like my first year of college, it was like,
oh yeah,
what do I do?
Yeah.
So,
No, it's a big thing. I'm big on structure now too. So So with the Kings County records, that is yours?
Yeah, so it's just an idea that I had. Kings County is it's the county that I live in Brooklyn. I also have the Bullpen 2020 records, which is an interesting one. I don't know. It's kind of, I've always had the vision of having a collective of artists to work with and see what happens, but I want to, so the goal is to launch it on one of my tracks. So to launch it, go somewhat viral with one of my tracks. I have a track that I think it has a lot of potential to go viral. You'll hear it post this. And just, I want to work with younger artists. I write for a lot of younger artists now. And much like post baseball, I would love to work with people who need that guidance to like get launched, man.
Yeah, because you bring a level of experience to those newer people that you can cut them some time, and maybe with your experience, they can focus on some of the music too.
Fact, man. Fact. And also I'll learn from them, right? Like, they're in this industry. I learn from the youth. Like there's so much writing and so much sound design and what's in, like my listening on a daily basis, you would find insane. You would think that I am the most ADD person you probably have ever met, but obviously I'm probably not, but I might be. But yeah, like I'll listen to like country, into dubstep, into Jay-Z, into Young Thug, into Britney Spears, into Shania Twain, into Mozart, and then I'll finish my night by listening to drones in the shower. I don't know if you've ever listened to drones.
No.
You gotta drone, dude. It'll change your life.
I'm gonna listen to it now. I can't avoid it.
So drones is it's just like chord progressions.
Yeah.
That a lot of artists, little cheat code. A lot of artists. This artist called Fred again. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he makes music with a drone track in the background. So like it'll be like drone in the key of C, and like it's just like, and like he will literally create the track around that. And he was taught by his he's the apprentice to somebody who taught him that, and he's like one of the biggest recording artists when it comes to electronic dance music in the world right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
The small ins and outs of things that the normal listener doesn't know.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, also what works for you, right?
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man.
It is art, right? So at the end of the day, like certain people, it's just different. Like I can't be under the influence of anything when I make music. Nothing other than coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee's nice, but like I can't drink. I can't nut, dude. If I have two beers and start making music, I'll get obsessed with like one piano note, and like a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour later, I'll be like, what the hell just happened?
Like, how do I make this work?
Yeah, like bang, 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 bang. Oh, this one's different. Bang, bang, bang. And meanwhile, when I'm like completely sober and not like and I don't use anything, but I'm just saying, like, you know, some rappers can go in the studio and smoke until they're in the clouds and then just come out with these like amazing, you know, verses. I would be looking at the bottom of my speaker. You know, so but my point in that is, like, you know, finding the ins and outs of your creative process, and, like, you know, how you can be most efficient in your most efficient hours of your day, right? Like,
yeah.
you know,
Now, like, what's your creative process like if you're thinking about, do you tell yourself, tomorrow I'm going to make a song? Do like or do you, like, do you hear a beat and you're like, I got to write to it? Or do you write something and then you're like, I got to find the right beat to it? Do you
so
have
I
a preferred method?
I create all my music from scratch, right? So, like,
Yeah.
so my whole thing is, side note, I'm gonna just pull the rug or pull the cloak off of, like, any conceptions anyone has. Like, it's okay to buy beats. It's okay to use samples. I'm a big sample user, right? I would even say I mostly use samples when I create music. You know, I use sites like Splice or Waves, or where I'll piece together piano chords with guitar chords, and, you know, and get to a place where, getting to your question, I find something that I feel inspired by.
Yeah.
My process is my own. I can't speak on anyone else, but I think that the answer to your question is, I am a emotional song maker. So I go into the studio knowing I'm going to make a song, but the journey is like a Pollock painting for me. It's kind of like, I don't know what I could end up writing about a fictional story about a girl who has amazing potential in life, with an amazing talent as a writer or a chess player, whatever, non-specific. And she's just in the hood and has parents who are addicts and has to take care of her baby brother and has to do things for money to support her family. Like, there's journeys that I'll just go on for whatever reason. Unfortunately for me, that freedom that I have when it comes to writing is also an organizational blunder at times, because in my music you can hear a lot of different things going on. Not per song. Like my songs have become very much one genre in the song, but, like, I'll make a country song and then I'll make that specific type of hip hop song.
Yeah.
You'll hear it. You'll hear some of it in the stuff I sent you. But yeah, my process is very organic at this point.
That's awesome, man.
It's super organic and like super what I hear when I hear what I hear. So if you play me something and I don't know if this is like an ability I have or if it's like some connection from a higher power, but, like, when I, like, hear something, I almost immediately know what I would want to say on it.
Yeah.
Whether I'm successful or not is a different like conversation, right? Because I've made of the million songs I've made, my percentage of making something really good is not 100%, right? Like,
well, I mean,
you know,
it's such a process, because you can write something in a month. You're like, I'm not even really that person anymore.
Yeah.
Because I used to stockpile, where I would sit there and just write. I would get ideas randomly. I would start writing and going to it, and then, you know, a year later find a beat, or my buddy's like, hey, I made this beat, and I would listen to it, and I would try to, do I want to freestyle to this? Do I want to sit and write? Do I have something to this? And I would have to go through that part of the process. And sometimes too, man, creating in the moment was one of the biggest things you could do.
I think that on this platform, I could share music with you.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You want me to try?
Yeah.
Let's try it. Since we're talking about it, I'm going to give it a go. Give me a second.
Let's do it.
All right. So it says share. Let me just get my SoundCloud up.
I'm excited to see if this works.
I think it will. I think it will. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to just pick a song. Well, regardless, let me just share my screen. Hopefully the audio shares. All right. Yeah. Let's see. All right. So do you see it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's just see if you hear the audio. All right. So let's just try this one. Let me know if you hear it.
Yep.
So this is also high quality audio. So it'll be like on your stream. I think it'll be fully good. All right, check this out. So this is like kind of what I'm doing now. Not like the full idea of it, but I'll give it a go.
All the beers that I've been drinking, all the weed that I've been smoking, and all them hearts that I've been breaking. I'ma fade away, I'ma fade away, I'ma fade away. Well, now grab your partner, do-si-do. If they ain't smiling, just do more, cause you signed up to be the big show. With flashing lights and lines of blue for you to stay up all night long. I bet you think that you're a big star. All the beers that I've been drinking, all the weed that I've been smoking, and all them hearts that I've been breaking. I'ma fade away, I'ma fade away, I'ma fade away. So take me back to where the liquor flows like a river, like a river. And take me back where our lungs are full of smoke. I am chilling, yeah, we're living. Yeah. Take me back to where the liquor flows like a river.
So that's like an idea of
Yeah.
like something I'm doing.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the style. I like the flow of it. I like how it kind of transforms into more than just like a single note.
Yeah, and look,
You
it's like
know?
I'm a Brooklyn kid singing like somewhat of a country song. So like that's always been an issue of mine where I'm like, what am I making today? This is, people don't know who I am, but we've worked on this. I mean, me and my team, which is not a big team at all, but we've worked on like honing it down to where it's palatable. I'll play you one more because I know that I don't want to spend too much time doing this, but I'll play you something that you'll be able to relate to a little bit more.
Okay.
It's like on a hip hop level. This is interesting. There is some cursing in it. You could, obviously.
No, I'm not worried about it at all.
All right, cool.
Let me tell you something, Pandeo. Pull any of your crazy shit with us, you flash a piece out in the lane, I'll take it away from you and stick it up your ass and pull the fucking trigger till it goes.
We know I blow with fake ass friends. Your girl swallows, stairwell bends. Mama told me the backstab lives closer than you expect it is. She was a bad bitch, knock a middle. Yeehaw, motherfucker, I'ma live a little. I see lies and I'm drunk and beat my lips together. Closed eyes and I'm playing chicken with the devil. Hey, hey. Her man working the 9 to 5. She ain't interested, him no mind. Top me off in the parking lot. Welcome kisses when you arrive. We know I blow with fake ass friends. Your girl swallows, stairwell bends. Mama told me the backstab lives closer than you expect it is. Gonna take 5.
Oh.
Then I'll do
Love it,
stuff.
man.
Yeah, then I'll do stuff like that where it's like, and obviously like I'm a grown person with a wife now and trying to start a family, but truthfully, like I believe in art, especially like if you're within respectful boundaries, you have to have a communication with your partner that is just unbelievable, right? You have to be on such a strong level of that, but
Yeah.
you should really be able to do and say whatever you want in your art, because that's a flex song about
It
a
is.
time when I was a 19-year-old college kid. Maybe most of the stuff I write is fiction in that regard, but artistic freedom I think is very important within respectful boundaries,
Yeah, I think you have to have it. And speaking to that, maybe I don't know if the older version of me thinks different than the younger version of me, but for your personality and knowing you, to see you do 2 different songs like that, I would almost rather an album like that than an album that's like, okay, it's going to be 10 songs of everything I can expect.
Well, that's what you're getting.
Well,
you're gonna hear it, yeah.
Well, the identity factor that you talked about, I deal with it. I go back and forth with it on the podcast because most people are going to think he's going to talk to just baseball players. But then I'm talking to autism moms. I'm talking to musicians. I'm talking to parents. I'm talking to coaches. I'm talking to everyone that I find interesting. So through my work, you're going to see my different personalities, my different beliefs. Like, you know, you're one of the only people that has been on here that I've ever even just made music with.
Yeah.
So
I think that I think what you're saying is so enlightening, right? I think that and you not it's not this is again, I can't give you advice. You know, you're doing what you're doing and it's great. But my advice to anyone would be like, don't downplay your journey, bro. Like,
absolutely.
Doesn't matter what you're doing. Like you know, from what I know from you now, because we obviously haven't stayed in touch on like a very close basis, but you know, you're a artist still. You're passionate about ball. You're passionate about speaking to people about music, about baseball. You're a father. You're a father with somebody that has special needs. I mean, my one cool fact I'll tell you about my family was my aunt and uncle. My cousin Jake is a multitude of things, but he's autistic. He has, you know, a bunch of things going on, but nonverbal. And my uncle, this is a really cool thing. This is a long time ago too, before podcasts were popular. He created this blog, and he blew up. He was called Autism Daddy.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was a anonymous guy who would blog about his daily experience with the ever-changing, you know, challenges and evolution of his son, in which, you know, I mean, I'm not privy to your experience. We haven't talked about it, but
yeah,
his experience was diagnosis after diagnosis, in which, you know, the doctors were learning just as much as the father was learning. My uncle was learning. And it was such a powerful thing for him because he was able to not only help other people like you are, you know, when it comes to those conversations, but also it was an outlet for him.
Oh, it's
you know?
It's unbelievable. The fact that I can, the amount of people that you run into now that have family members or, you know, whether we can talk about music, baseball, or that, it's a very small world. It's a very small world when you find out we're all just people, and we're in the hopes is that we are traveling down our journeys.
Oh yeah. And I think that that's the point of, it sounds to me that's the point of what you're doing. It's kind of cool.
It's reaching out, man. It's connecting.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know. So
but yeah, man.
Let me ask you this too, because you shared some music. Where can people find you? Where can people find your music and follow your journey? So
for the time being, I go by Manno. I will go by Manno and release music under that name forever. But there may be some things that I'm doing that no one knows who it is, which I'm interested in trying that out also, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
So Manno is my artist project. It's also my last name. Original, I know. I couldn't think of anything else. I had some horrible names in the past. But yeah, it goes by Manno, and then music will be released under it consistently starting now in the next couple months. But I also have a lot of music that is unreleased that I want to start some alias projects because I want to experiment with not having this guy on it and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's a side quest.
Dude, you got to do it though. You got to give it a shot because at the end of the day, when things wrap up for you, you don't want to leave any stone left unturned.
No, yeah, and I think that this is one stone personally for me, and I'm talking to you like we're not on a podcast now. This is one stone that I will be a angry old man telling my grandkids stories about how I could have been if I don't turn the stone. Baseball,
Yeah.
I don't have that feeling about. Whether or not I could have made it if I stayed in it, I'm completely comfortable with not. This, personally, music is, I don't feel that way about it. So
yeah, there's some,
yeah.
I think you have the ability to control what you do, or at least the music you make. Maybe
Yeah.
you could be more famous and richer doing EDM versus something you want, but at the end of the day, you're going to be able to know, I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And it's going to evolve and it's going to grow and it's going to become more palatable. We'll see. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
let me ask you this one last thing. If you could leave a message for your family or the people around you that have supported you throughout your baseball and music career and life in general, what would you say?
Why? I'm serious. Like obviously the quintessential answer would be like, there's not enough thanks I can give you, right? And I haven't thanked you enough. I haven't thanked them enough. All the individual people that have been involved in my growth, my ups, my downs, like they know that I live my life that way with gratitude to a certain extent. And if I don't, then this, I'll try to do better. But my question is always exploring the reason why. I think that unconditional love is amazing, right? Like, and we get that from, if we're lucky, from multiple people throughout our life, truly unconditional love. But I think with unconditional love, we lose track in the belief in ourselves. And I think that there's so much power in why people support what you're doing. So like, I feel like we have to trust that support.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if that's a message to the people that have supported me. Like the answer why, the answer that I said to you why is kind of like, facetious in a way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that the why is the answer. Trust.
Well, it is. It is so. That's the best part about what you said. When you think about it in those terms too, and it kind of shows that some people may not have to, but they choose to.
And thank you for that why. How about that? That would be my answer. Like, thank you for the support that may feel blind at the time, but I know that the guidance that I've gotten is out of love and out of belief.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for being on tonight, man. I really do. It's been amazing catching up with you and hearing the ins and outs of your journey, essentially, because you play baseball, you go through that portion of your life with someone, then I follow your music career as well. But it's amazing to hear the ins and outs of everything too, because you never know the full person.
Yeah, dude. And I know that your journey is going to be great too in this. I think that you really need to pursue this because it's something you're good at it, first off.
Thank you,
right?
Man.
And you know that already. Like your personality, it works. And you're genuine, and then you can't act that, right? Like a lot of these podcasts that you see that to get serious traction, there's a missing thing that they have, and I feel like you definitely have that. I think it's enjoyable.
No,
definitely.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
of course,
appreciate
bro.
that. I hope to be able to keep it up and find people that I want to talk to. That's number one thing. But we'll definitely have to reconnect as well, because I'd love to have you on as you're constantly releasing projects and just
you gotta get on the track.
Dude, don't
do it.
tempt me.
I'll send you something. If you have a mic and everything, you can make it happen.
We'll see what happens, man.
All right, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man, and we'll be talking soon.
All right, CC. All right, man.